Okay, last time we see about the glance, right? So have you done the installation?
Yeah, I've just done with one VM,
Okay,
the all-in-one, but I want to do three in one: compute, network, and
controller.
storage. I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today we'll start with the Nova. Okay, what is a Nova and what is the use of Nova? Okay, Nova is compute service. Compute is nothing but your hypervisor. Okay, so overview, components and architecture. OpenStack compute service overview. The code name of this service is Nova. Okay, it's very important. It's a mandatory component. Host and manage cloud computing system. Major part of an IaaS. IaaS means infrastructure as a service. Interact with Keystone for authentication. Glance for disk image. Nova network slash Neutron for network connectivity, and dashboard for user interface. Okay, so Nova is the mainly mediator between creation of your VM and managing of your VM. This is the first part. And Nova Compute is nothing but your hypervisor. Okay, Nova Compute is one more
Yeah.
service that is nothing but hypervisor, and Nova is one of service. It provides the mediator between your machine creation. Okay,
Yeah.
so again the Nova API service is there. In the Nova we have a couple of services are there. Like first one is Nova API service, accept and respond to end user compute API calls. Okay, when the user will call for VM creation, it actually calling to the Nova APIs. Okay, API means application programming interface. And the second part is Nova metadata API services, means accept metadata request from instance. Use when we run multi-node with Nova network. Nova API and Nova metadata API can't run on the same node. Okay, just because Nova API and Nova metadata both are working on the same port. Okay, so suppose you are doing an all-in-one installation, all-in-one machine, so it will only Nova API will
Okay.
be installed. But if you're doing the multi-node installation, so Nova metadata will be installed on compute and Nova API will install on your controller machine. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
So Nova Compute Service is one more service inside of your Nova. Create and terminate virtual machine instances through hypervisor API. Example, Zen API, libvirt KVM or VMware. Okay, it's basically used for hypervisor. Nova Scheduler, it will schedule your task. Suppose I'm creating 100 of VMs at a one time, but my hypervisor capacity is creating a 10 machine at a one time, right? So Nova Scheduler will
Mm.
schedule the task like 10 machine will create first. After creation of 10 machine, the next 10 machine come in queue, other machines in a hold position. Okay, so this task provided by Nova Scheduler. Nova Cert is just for certificates. Nova Network is accept networking. So before Neutron, Neutron is the network service, right? So before Neutron,
Yeah.
we have one network service that's called as Nova Network. Okay, but now nobody is using the Nova Network because Neutron is there. Neutron is having the advanced functions, and previously for Nova Network, only like a bridging concept is there. Okay, for simple network, you can use the Nova Network, and suppose you want to create as a production server or exam, you have to use the Neutron service. Accept networking tasks and manipulate the network. Perform tasks such as setting up bridge interface and changing IP table rules. Okay, so Nova Network basically used for bridging interface only. And
Yeah.
this, okay,
So Nova Network, now all the functionality of Nova Network has gone to Neutron, is it?
right. Nova Network we replace as a Neutron, but Nova Network is also there. If you want to configure, we can do that one. But Nova Network nobody is using in the real-time scenario. Just because of there's only bridging concept.
Okay.
There's no DHCP, VLAN, VXLAN, or your other functions are not there. Okay, so just because of Nova
Oh.
is not providing the more advanced with the networking, they launches new component name that is Neutron. So Neutron will provide you the all functionality. Okay, so below component is basically used for accessing. So when we use the VM on graphical location, this Nova consolidated, Nova VNC proxy, Spice HTML5 proxy, XVPN proxy, those will work when we go for the graphical access. Okay. So how this is the architecture. Nova API, we get the information. Nova console, it will consolidate. This is on queue. Nova compute means your hypervisor. Hypervisor means your Zen, KVM, libvirt. This is your hypervisor. Okay, Nova compute will install on
Mm.
hypervisor. Nova database, it will store all information. Like I get a one request for 2 VM. So it will store 2 VMs has been created with the Windows ISO, with the Linux ISO, with the 4 GB RAM, 10 GB machine. It will store in a database. Nova scheduler will schedule the task and assign to queue. Nova conductor will conduct the information from database and provide information to queue. Means suppose I put the 100 of VMs to at one time. So it goes to the first Nova API, and Nova API will store information in the database. We have to create the 100 of VMs. So Nova database will send information to queue. We have to create, but queue will handle by Nova scheduler. So Nova scheduler will schedule the task and send to queue the task to the queue. Like 10 machine creation, after completing 10 machine, the next 10 machines. Okay, and this handled by Nova conductor. Nova certificate is basically used for
Okay.
accessing graphically. Graphically means using the horizon. Okay, and this is a hypervisor, is nothing but any kind of hypervisors like Zen, KVM or libvirt. Okay, so when we Nova
Oh.
will goes to provisioning a VM, what is happening in the Nova? You can see Nova will boot. Okay, Nova will boot, then it goes to Nova API. Okay, so when we creating the machine, it will first call to the Nova API. Like I have to create the machine. So Nova API will talk with the first glance. We required ISO file from Linux or Windows or whatever. Okay, when we get the ISO file, Nova API will talk with your Neutron just because of our IP address purpose, right? After the getting IP address and the ISO file, Nova API will send information to conductor to conduct the information, means hold this information. Like we required ISO file from Linux and we required 10.10.1.1 is the IP address. Now a conductor will hold the information and then it will put the information in your database, that is MySQL or RabbitMQ, anything. Okay, then it goes to the again it goes back to the Nova scheduler. Nova scheduler will schedule the task, like we have to create a one machine or 10 machine or n numbers of machines, and then it will actually create on your hypervisor. Hypervisor is nothing but your hardware resources.
Mm.
Any doubt here?
No, I will just go through this again because I understood till Nova scheduler. After Nova scheduler, how one scheduler takes care of, the Nova compute is where I'm lost actually.
Okay. So do you remember the this one the keystone presentation which one I share with you? How the VM will be boot?
What is it?
Keystone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
Nova is the part of your the mediator between creation of VM, right? Here you can see that. I'll
Mm.
explain one more time. So here you can see that user you talk with the credential will talk with the keystone. Keystone will take the token. Token request forward to the Nova. Then Nova will take the
Mm.
care of to take an image, take a Neutron from IP address, and that information will send to the graphical window or the prompt to you. This is taken care by Nova. Okay, but authorization taken care by Keystone. So when the Nova will talk with the
Mm.
glance and Neutron, so what is happening at the background in the new Nova? That is I explained to here. Okay, what is happening at the background?
Okay.
Just when Nova will get the information, first it goes to the Nova
Mm.
API. Then Nova API will first talk with the glance just for ISO file or VMDK file or any image file, right? So he get the information, and meanwhile Glance will talk with the Keystone for authentication. We got this information is a verified person. After the verification, Glance will send the ISO file to Nova. You can take this ISO file from RHEL or Windows or something. Okay. Then Nova API will again talk with the Neutron for IP address and subnet mask and gateway, right? So here Neutron will talk with the Keystone for authentication, right? He will get the one token. After token confirmation, Neutron will send the IP address to Nova API, right? So now Nova having the Nova having the image file, Nova having the IP address, right? So he can boot the VM. So when he's booting the VM, so first he will send the information to conductor. Conductor will hold this information, and the information he will save in your database. So which database, which one you chooses, like MySQL or MariaDB. It will store in your database. So when it will store, conductor will talk with your scheduler, because scheduler will schedule the job. Okay, the VM creation, it will schedule by scheduler. Suppose we have 10 machines, the scheduler will decide this VM will be created on which hypervisor. Suppose I have 10 hypervisors and I want to schedule this job on specific hypervisor, like to the second hypervisor. So we have to provide information to the scheduler. You can boot this information, boot this VM on the second hypervisor. Okay, otherwise scheduler will take simultaneously. The first one he will take, if the first hypervisor is goes full, then automatically he will boot on the first that VM on second VM, second hypervisor. You got it? Any confusion?
Yeah, now I get it.
Yeah.
No, this is fine.
Okay, Nova scheduler, then he will boot on your hypervisor, any hypervisor. Okay, it depends on the hardware resources available on your hypervisor. Suppose these 3 hypervisors free, so he will boot on first hypervisor. Okay, but suppose this hypervisor having don't free RAM, so we require the RAM, right? So he will boot on the second hypervisor. He will not take hard disk from here and RAM from here. He will particularly boot from specific hypervisor. And suppose the 3 hypervisors having the free, and I want to boot this VM on my second hypervisor or my third hypervisor. So we have to mention, when we create the VM, we have to mention you can select hypervisor from third or second. Okay, so this is the part of your Nova.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll show you where is Nova located, what is the Nova basic commands are there. So this is the same machine which one we done the installation. You can see that it's a 151 IP address. So last time, so first I have to switch as a admin, right? So last time we created one image, that glance image list is the command to check.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, to check two images, right? So first we have to check we have image or not.
But you have already created the VM, no? Why do we have to check the image again?
No, I'm just checking to why I'm putting this commands again and again. It will remember to you, right? If I put one time only.
Okay. I thought again we'll have to do something there.
No,
Okay,
no,
got it.
we have already one VM, or maybe
Yeah.
I deleted, or I have to check.
No, that's where the confusion was, whether we need to do it again. So now I'm fine.
So this is the same machine. Okay, I just take the duplicate session. You can see that this is the same machine. So here also I'm just putting as a admin. So Nova list is the command to check the created VM. Okay, Nova list is the command to check created VMs. Suppose I created 10 VMs, so it will show 10 VM information like VM ID, VM name, VM IP address. Okay, you can see that we have one image. I use here Nova list command. It will show me the information about the VMs, which one we have created. So have you remember how to create a VM? Last time how we created VM?
Yeah.
Using the graphically or using the command prompt?
Yeah. Remember, graphically is more easy actually.
Yeah, but last time we done the creation of VM using the graphically or using the command?
Yeah, with the, yeah, we did both.
We did both, right? Nova boot is the command to create a VM. I will show one more time if you
Yeah.
not remember. Okay, you can see that
Then
Nova list.
first you did an image create and then you create the instance, right?
Yeah. So Nova list is the command. It will show the information about your created VM. So you can see that this is the ID, this is the VM name, this is the status means active means running and power state is running. Okay. But you can see that there's a network function is here, but there is no network. Okay. So first we have to create a network, and then when we create the new VM, it will automatically take the IP address from this specific network. Okay, we'll do that one later to creation of a VM and everything. Here also I created the same thing. So Nova list is the command to create a check the information about the created VM. Okay, so next command will be, so here is the option. So do you remember when we creating graphically VM, that time we selected flavors, right? There's almost 5 types of flavors.
Yeah.
I'll show here the flavors. We look at here in admin. Just go on flavors.
Yeah.
Flavors
Depending
is
on how much RAM size, how much
right,
CPU you want, you'll choose the flavor.
right.
Hardware capabilities.
So default 5 flavors are there, from M1.tiny to M1.large, like 4 CPU, and here is 512 MB RAM, 1 CPU. Okay, so how to create a flavor? Suppose this is the default flavor and my company want to create one another flavor, which one we daily use, right? When we're creating VM, we require some flavors. So how to create a flavor? First we go for the command prompt, then we go for graphically. So first you can use the command OpenStack flavor list is the command. It will show you the available flavors on your cloud. Okay, make sure you will switch as a admin first.
Yeah.
What it is, OpenStack flavor. Okay, FLAVOR. I missed the spelling. OpenStack flavor, FLAVOR. I missed the spelling. So it will prompt you the available flavor, the default flavors. Okay, so using OpenStack flavor create command, you can create the flavors. Okay, but there is a one method to create flavors. You have to follow this command. Okay, you can see that OpenStack flavor list. It will first is m1.tiny 512 MB RAM, 1 GB disk, m1.small 2 GB RAM, 20 GB hard disk. So we'll create the one flavor, 1 GB RAM and one CPU. Okay, one CPU. How to create a flavor from command prompt as well as your so you can use the same command OpenStack flavor. Instead of list, we have to use the command create. OpenStack flavor create. Then you can see that first is ID, then name, RAM, disk, imperial, virtual CPU is public. Okay, public. So we have to select this kind of thing. Like first we have to provide the name. Name will be like you can use a yum1.atul or yum2.tiny, something you can use anything. Okay. Then we have to define the RAM. Then we have to define the disk. Then we have to define the CPU. So how to create? Suppose I'm creating m1.atul. Okay, this is my name of flavor. Then we have to define the ID. Okay, here if I mention a random hyphen random, so last number like here the 5, right? So it automatically get the 6 number. If 6 is there, it automatically get the
Oh,
7 number. So I use the hyphen hyphen id command. id we have to define. So id is 6 because 5 is already used. 6, then hyphen hyphen ram. Ram I have to mention 1 GB. So we have to mention ram in MB format. Okay, MB format.
oh, okay.
Then hyphen hyphen this will be in a GB format. Okay, so we require a 1 GB disk. Okay, not more than we don't have. Okay, then we require the CPU. Then we have to use, I'm using the same format, first name, then RAM, then this. We don't require imperial, so I skip that one. Then we goes for CPU.
Mm.
We required one vCPU, right? vCPU equal to 1. 1 means one virtual CPU. Okay, space, enter. So it will create the one more flavor. That flavor should be 1 GB RAM, 1 GB hard disk, and one virtual CPU. Okay. So using this flavor also we can
Okay.
boot the machine or we can create the machine. Okay, you can see that it is created. So we first we check
Yeah.
OpenStack flavor list. Here is also mentioned RAM will be 1 GB. Our swap is no, we not mentioned. Virtual CPU will be 1, and ID is 6 number is the ID, and this will be 1 GB. Okay, so OpenStack flavor list it will show that we have now 6 flavors including this one m1.atul. You can see that m1.atul is created, 1 GB RAM, 1 GB
Yeah.
disk, and 0 0 and 1 and true. Means using now we can assign the m1.atul to creation of any VM. So first we'll just go for just basic of your configuration, right? Nova configuration. So where it is located? It's located in your /etc, then your component name. So which of the component is a Nova? You can use the tab, the Nova API and Nova configuration. Both files are there. So we use the nova.conf is the configuration file. Just open it this file. So this is the configuration where they have defaultly configured
Okay.
everything. Just go down. There's some of configurations are there. Let me check
I
first.
think you need to change the terminal color black and white.
Yeah, you will see now.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the way you can check the configuration file. If you want to edit, you can edit it. And log file located in -f where log, then component name will be Nova, and Nova
Okay.
API. You can see the Nova API log, Nova API log here. It will, suppose anything goes wrong with your creation, you can check here. Nova scheduler is there, Nova proxy, Nova manage, Nova consolidated. Okay, everything is there. So this is the way you can manage the Nova configuration as well as Nova log. So Nova will provide a lot of commands to create a VM, to pose a VM. Suppose we have one VM, that is VM2, and it is on running state. So suppose I want to pose that VM. Pose means VM is not deleted, VM is there, but it is on pause mode. So it is, the command is Nova pose, then your name of VM, or you can use the ID of VM.
Hmm.
Okay, so name of the VM will be VM2. So I use the Nova pause, then VM2. You can see that it is on running state. So I'll try to pause this one.
That is to pause any VM, right? Not to stop necessarily.
No, it's for pause. If you want to stop, then you can use the Nova stop and the VM name or VM ID. Okay, then I can check the Nova list command. It will show here power state will be pause. Okay, status will be pause. Okay, it is showing pause.
Mm.
Suppose I want to unpause it, so you have to use command unpause. Instead of pause, was only you have to use unpause, then VM name. Okay, this is the command. You can just manage it, delete it. You can use the suspend command, you can use the resume command, stop command, start command. Okay, if you want to resize it, you can resize
Basically,
it.
any kind of VM operation.
Yes, we also reboot the command Nova reboot, then VM name. Okay,
Can we take a snapshot using this Nova? No.
yes, here's the option. We can take the snapshot of your VM. Nova space snapshot space VM name. Nova snapshot VM name and the snapshot name. So it will take the snapshot of your
Okay.
VM with your new name. Okay, it is on active state. So again from graphically also we can do this one to pause or unpause is a very simple option to do that one. Okay, so you want to create a snapshot, you can just click on here, create a snapshot. Suppose I want to pause the machine, then I'll use here the pause option. Pause instance, suspend instance, resize instance, lock instance, unlock instance, rebuild instance.
Mm.
Okay, you can use in the graphic, you can do anything with your machine. Okay, so this is done by Nova. Okay, so Nova is a very important as a part of your interview as well as the managing of machines. Okay, so any questions till now you have with Nova?
No, no.
Okay, so here is the one in Nova also provide the security options like security group and key pair. Okay, so we'll talk later about the security group and key pair because first we have to create the network. Okay, network is very important. So now you can see that here we don't have, when I click on network, we don't have any kind of networks here. So first we have to create the one simple network. So in my machine VM2 we can see that there is no network we have mentioned, right? So without IP address we cannot log into the machine, right? So first we have to create a one network, that is internal network. So whenever we create the machine will get, you can see here's nothing. So whenever we create the machine will get the IP address from that network. So suppose I'm creating one network, just we have to click on create network. So this function provided by Neutron. Okay, so I'm putting name here internal network. Okay, I'm putting name, you can put any name like HP network, IBM network, IBM 2, IBM 1, anything. Okay, I'm using internal network. Internal network means, so when VM will be create, the IP will take from this network. Okay, so subnet, we have to mention the subnet name. I'm using internal. Okay, internal is the name. The network address, okay, you can click on here, it will show the information. Network address is CIDR. CIDR means your IP address range. Okay, so I'm creating one network that is 10.10.1.0/24. Can you just tell me what is /24?
Subnet mask.
Yes, it will go to the subnet mask. Suppose you have IP version 6, you can select from here IP version 4, IP version 6. Okay, this information in real time, this information provided by your network admin team. Okay, network team will provide you. We have this range. You can create the network on your project using the virtual network. So we have to create network. We have to mention the name. Suppose I want to mention the gateway, so we can specify the gateway here. Okay, so tell me, if I am not specified gateway here, so which gateway it will take default? If I'm creating this network,
Whatever the network address based on the subnet mask, it will have one gateway and one broadcast address, right? It will take that.
right? So when I create the, suppose I put here empty and I create the network, so a network will be created 10.10.1, start from 1.1,
10.10.1.1.
right? So gateway will be without, if I not,
10.10.1.1.
right, so first address of your range, it is default as a gateway if you not defined it. Okay, some
Yeah.
companies will define it here, default gateway will be different, like 254, 252 something. So I'm not defining here. You can, see IP address of gateway, example 24, the default value, the first IP of the network address, that is your gateway. Okay, so this is the
Yeah.
networking part. So just go on subnet details. Here I mentioned enable DHCP. So when we create the machine, it will automatically get the IP address. If you don't want to create the DHCP, you can just disable it. If you want to allocate the pools, it's a part of networking. Okay, if you want to allocate some pools and there in your organization, then you can mention here DNS name servers, host router.
But you need to have the DHCP server, right?
Yeah, it's automatically create the DHCP server at the background.
Okay.
Okay, so just I'm create the network.
This will come during Neutron, is it? All the DHCP
Yeah.
configuration and
Yes.
everything?
It's come. Yeah, it's come on in Neutron. So Neutron will handle this one, the DHCP concepts and the DNS concept, everything. So this is just about the network, how to create the network. Then next we are taking how to create the routers, how to create the switch. So two different network, how to create on one router. Okay. So do you know what is a router?
Hmm. Yeah. My background is networking.
Yeah. So you can teach me, right? So internal network has been created. You can see that 10.10.1.0 and 24 is a range. Shared, no edit. You can, if you want to edit, you can edit it here. So when I create the machine, the IP get from 10.10.1.2. Okay, I click here internal network. It's work very slow here
Hmm.
because it is on my VMware, right?
You have too many too many VMs, I think, no?
Yeah. So this is the information about your network information, and admin set is up. Just click on subnets. Okay, this is the subnet, but you can get gateway IP will be 10.1.1, the first IP, right? So when I create the next VM, the IP will get 1.2, next VM 1.3, 1.4.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll show you how to create a VM. Okay, I'm creating a VM. So first we have to provide the first we have to check the glance image list, right? We require the image for creating a image and IP address to create a VM. So
Mm.
the glance image list command and Nova flavor list command, it will show you the flavor list. Okay, so I'll select the 6 number of
Mm.
flavor which one we created. Okay, so it means 1 GB
Okay.
RAM and 1 CPU and 1 GB hard disk.
Okay.
What is happening? No, I can use a Nova image. Okay, the command will be, here is a dash. So here's the one syntax, like when we use the OpenStack, there's a no dash. When we using the any specific component name, there will be dash. Okay, like Nova
Mm.
dash,
Mm.
and OpenStack, when you use the OpenStack command, there is a no dash. Okay, so we have
Okay.
uh, this one. So Nova flavor dash list. So meanwhile, you can check here the hypervisor status. Just click on compute overview. It will show the information how much RAMs is available on your hypervisor. Okay. Or you can just click on admin and just click on hypervisor. It will show you on compute machine there's a 2 GB RAM, 512 MB for OS, 512 MB for we created. You can see that one virtual CPU created. Compute.example.com is my another machine. One virtual CPU we already use. One virtual CPU total, 1 GB RAM use, 1.8 GB total, 1 GB local storage, 35 GB is total, and 1 GB we have used. So first I will delete this VM which one we have used, and I'll create a new VM using the that new flavor and new internal IP address.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see that I'm trying to create here. So how to create the VM? Nova boot is the command, hyphen image, then we have to define the image name or image ID. Okay, I'll use here the image ID, then hyphen flavor. The flavor will be, you can use the name or ID. Okay, I use the ID 6 means we created m1.r2, right? The ID will be 6 1024 1 GB disk, and then your VM name. My VM will be VM3. Okay, VM2 is already there, so I'm creating VM3. But here you can see that I have not defined any network, because we have only one network, internal network, right? Suppose I have multiple networks in my cloud, so we have to define here network hyphen nick equal to your network information. Okay,
Okay.
so meanwhile I just delete this VM first. VM2 I'm just going to delete because there is no internet or internal IP, so it will take 2 minutes or 5 minutes. So in your organization now, you working on which project? It is based on cloud or it is on networking?
It is cloud only, primarily storage, But earlier to this, since I was working in Cisco, I have networking background.
Okay, you work on Cisco, right?
Yeah. Cisco, then I joined NetApp, now I'm in Seagate.
The big companies, right? Seagate and NetApps and Cisco.
Yeah, yeah.
So which cloud your company using there?
Sorry, what did you say?
In your company, they're using any kind of cloud like AWS, OpenStack?
No, no, no. Currently, they are primarily onto enterprise,
Okay,
but they want to enter into cloud over a period of time.
okay. So VM2 has been deleted. So let we wait for the VM3 has been created. Okay, it is on building state. So Nova list is the command. It will show you the information about the. So when it is going to for build, you can see that a lot of informations are there. Okay, this configuration, the host name will be VM3,
Okay.
which one is your VM name, and here the this is the image, serious image. Yamon.atul is the flavor. Okay, and then one more information is here. Where it is? Yeah, security group. Okay, so default there is a one security group name is default. Okay, so we'll talk later what is the security group, how to create, how to add rules on security group. So we just wait for creation of your VM. So it is on swapping. We can click on VM. Let me try to access the console log, or from command also we can find out if possible to um, less slash var lib nova instances.
It's still creating, I think.
Yeah, it's creating. Just because of we don't have the more RAMs and
Mm.
more network, this will take time. Otherwise, it will create very soon. Okay, I'll just click here and open a new tab. Okay, Nova VNC is the part of your Nova. It will show you the graphically access of your machine. So console logs means, do you have any idea? Console log, what is the console log?
Means during boot up, what happens? What are the services that are started? Usually it comes in the console, right?
Right, right. So when the VM will be created, the all service will be start or anything will fail, you have to check the console log. Okay,
Yeah.
it is like building the VM. Okay, it is on running state. So when VM will be created, you can see that VM name is VM3 and he get the IP address from 10.10.1.4. Size will be yamon.atul. Active availability zone be Nova. Task will be nothing. Running power state. Power state will be running and from last 3 minutes. Okay. From right click you can just take the console of that machine.
Even though it says running, it will be actually booting, right?
Let me check. But console is there, right? We can just see the console. Here is option to check the console also. So whenever you get the time after this, OpenStack, you can just also focus on AWS. Okay, there is
Okay.
a free account for on AWS. You can use it to.
Mm.
It's very easy. Or you can do the class and start. You can see that here the installation has been completed. Login as a Cirrus and user default password will be CUBSWIN colon this bracket. Okay, this is the password. So I try to log in here Cirrus. CUBSWIN colon and this bracket. So I can log into the successfully on this machine. So I'm using the hostname command. It will show me the VM3. Okay, Cirrus. Hostname will be he set the hostname as a Cirrus. So I use the command IPR. It will show me the information regarding IP address. He get the 10.10.3 is a default gateway and IP will be 1.4. So df-h command it will show me 1 GB of hard disk. You can see that it is almost 1 GB. Okay, so this way you can create the machine. You can create the multiple machines with a network. Okay, so just click on here, just go on network and network topology. So whatever topologies you have in your network, it will show here. Like you have 2 routers and 3 networks, so it will show how it's connected to each other or separated network. It's very it's simple to understand on graphically. Okay, so you can see that there is a only one internal network and the range of the internal network is 10.10.1.024 and this 10 of network we have connected one VM3. Okay, suppose we have 10 machines, so it will show here 10 machines. Okay, suppose I have one router, so router will show here and is connected to the this network. Okay,
Mm.
so suppose we have one more network here, so one router connected to the this machine, the same router will connect to the this machine. So this network, suppose this is the 192 series and this is the 10 dot series, so communication between the 10 and 192 between you using your router. Okay, so we'll do that one, how to create the
Yeah.
router, multiple routers or single router and multiple networks. Okay, so meanwhile you can just practice on it, same thing, how to create the machine, how to create the first network. Okay, it's important. Then we'll Monday we'll discuss about the how to create the router and attach, how to create the multiple networks and create the router and attach to the both network.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll
Yeah.
continue on Monday. Next 2 days you can take the leave because it's a weekends. Okay, and just finish
Yeah, yeah,
this,
sure.
finish these topics which one I cover here. Okay, so we can just focus on the next topics. So
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
okay, sure. So I'm stopping the
Okay,
recording
thanks.
now. I'll send you this recording and everything on your email or Skype. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, thanks.
Bye.